My mother-in-law doesn't believe that my husband is the father of our baby. I don't know what to do. My husband 30M and I 32F have been together for 4 years, married for 2. My husband is Indian, I am white. I have always gotten along with my mother-in-law 57F. She was warm and welcoming from the beginning and I really like her. She was over moon when we told her I was pregnant. Our daughter, Sarah, is her first grandchild. While I was pregnant, my husband and I joked together about how the baby might look 100% white. In all seriousness, we both knew she would probably look very white at first and get darker with time. She was born a month ago and does indeed look like any other white baby, but she has a full head of black hair and brown eyes. My husband and I think she's gorgeous. Anyway, my husband and I decided early on that we didn't want any visitors in the hospital while I was giving birth and that we wanted 1 week at home with her before introducing her to family members. We just wanted a little privacy and peace during a crazy time. My MIL wasn't thrilled by this, but she did respect it. She came to our house 3 weeks ago with my father-in-law and sister-in-law. She had a huge grin on get face as I walked towards her with Sarah in my arms. But when she saw my baby's face, everything changed. She began shrieking, and I mean shrieking, that the baby wasn't my husband's. My husband and I were stunned. The baby started to cry and everything sort of dissolved into chaos. My husband tried to explain that it's totally normal for the baby to be so pale, but she wouldn't calm down enough to hear him. They all left without any of them even holding the baby. That was the weeks ago. In the weeks since, my husband has spoken to her over the phone many times, telling her that he is certain that baby is his. He even pointed out to her that she herself is light-skinned for an Indian woman, but since my husband is darker, she thinks Sarah should be darker. She has refused to see me or Sarah until we do a paternity test. My husband has no doubts about Sarah being his. But he has asked me to do the test for his mother's sake and for Sarah's. He wants her to have a relationship with her grandmother. I do too. Or, I did. I'm not sure anymore. My family lives very far away, 10 hours by plane, while my husband's family is less than an hour by car. I was counting on my MIL to be a big part of Sarah's life, and she was very excited about spending time with her granddaughter. But now I don't know if I could ever leave Sarah with a woman who can come unhinged so easily. What do I do? Do I swallow my pride and get the test done? Even if I do, how can I trust my MIL's behavior and judgment after this? Edit. In case anyone wants more details about her reaction, here's one of my comment replies. You didn't see her. She flew off the handle at the mere sight of my child. She screamed at me. She screamed at my husband. She called me things in Hindi so insulting that my husband won't tell me what was said. Edit 2. Was there any reasons as to why MIL didn't believe Sarah to be her son's child? There is absolutely no reason for MIL to think I cheated on my husband. Before this, my relationship with her was great. She'd call me and we would talk, and all our conversations ended with "I love yous." I was shocked and hurt by her behavior because I thought we had bonded over the last few years, especially during my pregnancy. Edit 3. Not a big deal? She screamed in the face of my newborn child. She screamed in the face of my newborn child. But yeah, sure, totally understandable given that I have never given her any reason to think I would cheat on her son. You've always been good at seeing stuff from other people's perspective? Okay, try mine.
Relevant comments. Commenter. Yes, get the test. Put your MIL's fears to rest once and for all. This sounds like a cultural thing with your husband and MIL being of East Indian extraction. You knew that when you married him. You knew that before you married him. You now have to deal with that. MIL didn't come unhinged so easily. This is the parentage of her grandchild. Cut her a bit of slack. Do all you can to preserve family unity. Get the DNA test and be done with it.
OP. Didn't come unhinged so easily. You didn't see her. She flew off the handle at the mere sight of my child. She screamed at me. She screamed at my husband. She called me things in Hindi so insulting that my husband won't tell me what was said. I know this is her grandchild and I was so happy for Sarah to have loving family so close. But to doubt everything she knows about me and her son because the baby doesn't look how she wants her to? Yeah, I'd say she came unhinged pretty easily.
Commenter 2. Contrary to other posters here, my suggestion is to tell your MIL in no uncertain terms that this kind of irrational nonsense is not welcome in you or your daughter's life. Refusing to honor this ridiculous request is not denying your child a relationship with her grandmother. Refusing this request is standing up for yourself and forcing a 57-year-old woman to act like an adult instead of trying to bully and manipulate you. If she can't see the light and act like a normal, rational person, then you are all better off without. Appeasing irrational, manipulative people only weakens you and enables them. Tell Mil if she wants a relationship with her granddaughter, she needs to act like an adult. Also, keep an eye out for passive-aggressive crap and subtle resentment she may heap on your daughter over this.
OP. Yeah, big part of me wants to ignore her bullshit. But my heart is breaking for my husband and child. I was thinking of writing her a letter telling her how much I like and respect her and that I want her to be a part of Sarah's life. I would also include in that letter then her behavior hurt my heart because I am deeply in love with her son and would never do what she is suggesting. I would tell her that my daughter needs her grandmother but that I am afraid that our relationship has been tainted by this and that we need to sort this out ourselves before bringing Sarah into it. But I don't know if that would be well received. Update. I want to thank everyone for their advice. Everyone, mostly everyone, was very helpful and it was validating to hear people say my mother-in-law had behaved badly. Yesterday morning my mother-in-law called my husband while he was at work. She said she wanted to come back to the house to apologize, seriously didn't expect that. My husband told her he needed to check with me first. I told him it was fine as long as he and my sister-in-law were there too. So last night after my husband came home Mil and Sil came over. I was pretty nervous but I tried not to show it. Mil apologized for her behavior. She said she knows that Sarah is her son's daughter and that I am, in her words, a good girl. She said that she is disappointed that we aren't including Indian culture in Sarah's life. We gave her a completely Western name, except the last name, and we didn't have any religious ceremonies for her, including the traditional Hindu baby naming ceremony. I feel I need to tell you all that this was a mutual decision between me and my husband. My husband was born and raised here and is very westernized. While his given name is very Indian, he has a Western nickname he prefers to go by. We live in the American South and he deals with casual, and not so causal, racism on a regular basis. He has been pulled over by the police repeatedly for looking suspicious and even occasionally harassed at work. He doesn't want that for our daughter, so when we decided on a name he was clear that giving her an Indian name was not something he wanted to do. We are also both atheists and didn't want to do the traditional ceremonies from either of our family's religions. Anyway, my Mil said she dealt with the Western name and the lack of a ceremony, but when she saw the baby even looked white she freaked out. She reiterated that she doesn't doubt Sarah's paternity and that she's sorry she acted that way. She said she very much wants to be a part of Sarah's life. I thanked her for her apology, but I also told her how what she did made me feel. I told her that I had really valued our relationship and had been looking forward to her relationship with Sarah, but that I'm worried now. I told her she behaved in a way that made me question her ability to spend time with Sarah alone. But, I said, if she wanted to she could prove to me that this was a one-time incident. I told her that my husband and I had discussed letting Sarah stay with her one weekend a month when she gets older. On these weekends my mother-in-law would be more than welcome to take Sarah to her temple and teach her all about Indian culture and the Hindu religion if she wanted to. However, as of now that is no longer the plan. If my Mil wants that privilege back, she needs to behave like an adult and treat both of us with respect. She agreed and told us she loves us both. We hugged and she cried a little. She asked to see the baby and cried full on when she held her. She cooed at her in Hindi. My husband said it was all sweet things, and promised us that she would earn our trust back. She then asked if we would reconsider the baby naming ceremony. We agreed that if she wanted to plan it we would do it. We aren't thrilled with that, but we are happy that things are working out. I will be proceeding with caution, but I am optimistic. Her apology was sincere and, it appears, not coerced. She won't be left alone with Sarah anytime soon, but if she continues to be the warm, loving, and sane woman we knew her to be before this nonsense, then a year or two down the road everything will be the way it's supposed to be. Edit. Is it important for my daughter to feel the connection to her Indian heritage? I feel like people think I don't want her feeling connected to her Indian heritage, which is not the case. It was my husband's decision to distance himself and his child from the culture. He knows next to nothing about it and is no position to teach her about it without getting everything he tells her from books versus his mother, who can teach from experience. If she wants to teach Sarah, she is welcome to. Edit 2. My husband grew up going to a Hindu temple with his mother and still learned to think for himself. I grew up attending religious services and also learned to think for myself. If this isn't something you'd allow with your kids, that's cool. But this kid is mine, so it's my call and I'm comfortable with the idea.
Relevant comments. Commenter, does your husband speak Hindi? I would suggest, because my parents never taught me a second language, that you have your daughter learn Hindi.
OP. My husband understands Hindi but cannot speak it. We will be teaching her Spanish because it will come in handy more often and we both speak Spanish, to a degree.
Commenter 2, thank God she came to her senses. It seemed hard on you that you thought you had a good relationship with her and then she went nuts. Some extremely outside advice? Talk with your husband some more about giving his daughter a completely Western upbringing. I've seen on this sub, Google, cannot agree with names for our unborn son, read comments on Arjun Bradley Smith, and IRL mixed children raised white who grew up to be quite angry that they didn't know anything about their heritage going so far as to adopt new names for themselves. Your husband is reacting to his childhood, you might be going too far the other way. I know you live in the South and that's hard, but when your daughter grows up and goes off to college with kids of her background who seem more comfortable with both, she might feel she missed out. Your MIL is probably not the person to entrust with giving her heritage in any case, but it might not hurt to give Sarah some sense of her whole background, especially if she ends up being a brownish kid.
OP. The problem here is that my mother-in-law allowed her son to assimilate into Western culture out of guilt. For example, he came home crying one day in kindergarten because he didn't get any Christmas presents but all his friends did. So from then on they celebrated Christmas. My husband barely knows more about the Indian culture than I do. We are ill-equipped to teach our daughter about it, so my MIL will be their only one who can do it properly. I think this is part of the reason she got so upset. I think she realizes she made a mistake here with her children. I think letting her have this opportunity with Sarah will be good for both of them.